Welcome, Julian.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, Julian is the creator of Surrealist, and he came over to London just for the Surreal World event, which
Yeah.
is honestly amazing.
That's right.
With his team members that are just right here. So glad you could be here. Yeah, so how did you find SurrealDB?
Right, well, that actually started a year ago when I watched the Fireship video. I think it's nearly exactly a year ago. It already sparked my interest back then, so obviously I stuck around in the community and just kept researching it.
Just kind of went for it, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't really have a use for it right away, but just a couple months later, I thought I had the perfect project to use it on, so I've been using it ever since.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think many people stuck on from the Fireship video. There have been a lot of publicity around that time. That was really good. So just for newcomers here, what is Surrealist? Could you explain it?
Right, so Surrealist is essentially a multi-purpose tool. You can use it on the desktop, you can use it in the web, you can use it to execute queries, explore your database, manage your schema, and you can also do some stuff with the authentication as well. I'm still looking to expand it as always, but it already does a lot.
That's amazing. So basically, it's like an all-in-one tool for everything SurrealDB.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really good. So how did you get the idea to build Surrealist? What was the motivation behind it?
Well, at the time there weren't actually any other tools out there. Like I said, I wanted to start using Surreal, but I needed to have some sort of interface for my colleagues to use, especially. And I figured, I could just make one. So initially, I built it just for querying. So it started off as just a simple way to execute queries, see the result.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
But over time, I added in these different views. So there's now an explorer and a designer and an authentication view. So it does a lot of stuff now. But yeah, that's kind of how it started.
It's really versatile. Yeah, actually. It does a lot.
It does a lot.
And as it does so much, what are your favorite features of Surrealist?
Well, my favorite feature is definitely the designer view. I think that's really useful.
That's where you can design tables and could you explain it a bit?
Yeah, so in the designer view, you can essentially manage your schema. So you can just define tables, add the fields, define events, all that kind of stuff. But it also visualizes your schema in a diagram or a table. Depends what's easiest for you. And you can really just see your database just in such a nice, clear way.
That's very nice.
I think that's great. Initially, it was actually separate. There was this visualizer view. But I figured, if you combine it, you can design your database while you're looking at it.
It's really powerful, yeah.
It's really powerful.
That's cool. Anything else?
Well, there's so many features. There's definitely a couple really cool ones. I think the auto-completion of the tables when you're
that's
writing
really
your
cool,
queries.
yeah. I love that personally.
Yeah, it helps so much. You don't have to look up what are my tables again. It'll just provide them.
It's just there, yeah.
That's right. So that's really cool.
That's amazing, yeah. And well, yeah, it is quite extensive, as we found out. But did you build it all by yourself?
Well, I did most work myself. I did have some help from friends as well, so that's always nice to have. And I've had a lot of GitHub contributions as well.
From the community, yeah.
So there's always people making issues and pull requests as well, and I'm really thankful for that. That's
really helpful,
it's
yeah.
really helpful. But I've been working on it pretty much myself for the most part since, I think it's December of last year now. So it's been quite a while.
It's quite a journey, yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's worked out really well so far. It's fun to work on.
And it's like you've done a major refactor, right? So it's also like a learning process because you went from Wheels, which is written in Go, to Tauri, which is written in Rust.
Yeah, that's right.
And did you know Go before or Rust, or how'd that go?
Right. So when I started, I initially looked at Electron because that's always been the biggest one out there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I know it's big
it's a memory hog.
It's. I didn't want to use it essentially, so I was looking for alternatives. I did come across Tauri as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Rust at the time. I didn't really felt like learning it, so I already knew Go, so I just went with Go.
Okay, yeah, interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so it did work well, and Go worked well as well, but the problem is that I wanted to make these more advanced features, such as the designer and the authentication view. And I wanted to extract the structure from the database without having to essentially parse a lot of stuff myself. So I had the idea to use the official Rust crate,
Yeah.
which then allows me to parse queries
Yeah.
and just extract the information I want out of it. So I
It just
realized,
does it for you.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I realized, it might actually be worth moving it all over to Rust anyway. So, like I said, I didn't know any Rust at the time, and I did learn it, and it was actually quite fun to learn. So
I find Rust amazing. Like
think it's
the,
great.
the type safety, it's lovely. Yeah.
it's fantastic. It can still be a bit of a struggle to get it to work, but when it does work, it's fantastic. So, yeah, that's been a really cool.
You
cool
basically
change.
get like a feeling for it at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that went well. Rust crate working well, and ever since then, it's been running on Tauri. It had some other benefits like I can now distribute installers, whereas previously they were just executables. It's smaller in size, so just a couple of general benefits as well. But yeah, I think that's been a really cool change.
I'm actually wondering, what is your favorite feature of Rust? Like,
Well, I mean, there's so many cool things. I think those macros are magic. Those are pretty cool. I personally really like the option and the result types. I
Yeah.
think those are great
they're
because
lovely.
usually you just keep checking if it's not null in other languages, especially in Go, we do that a lot. So having all these different functions like unwrap or else and
Yeah.
those kind of things, those are just
And
fantastic.
The match statement is
Match statement.
the best. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
lovely.
Have you had any major roadblocks? Like besides Rust, obviously. But-
Yeah, there was one thing. So in in Cerilus, you can start the database directly from the interface.
Yeah.
It spins up a CerilDB instance, and then you can stop it later.
Yeah.
But that was a bit of a disaster at first because I had to store that reference in a global state, and
Is it like a process reference or
it
Yeah.
took me like a couple days just to get that working.
really?
But then I figured
Oh,
it
wow.
out, so I was really happy when it did work. But
Was it like an easy thing in the end?
I just had to. So the key was I had to keep reading the output of the executable, but I needed to store a reference to it as well in order
Okay,
to kill it later. So I couldn't like keep both references at the same time because it works in Rust. But eventually I ended up using the take method to essentially take the output out of the child process, then move the child process to the global state, and then just keep reading from the output in a separate thread.
Yeah.
And that was the way to do it.
Boom, it works.
And it worked, yeah.
It's like magic. Rust is pure magic.
Yeah, it is.
So what are you building with CerilDB besides Cerilus?
Right, so I actually use it at work a lot. We started using it a couple months ago. Initially, we actually used Firebase and then moved over to Postgres, but we had some issues with everything. Firebase, for one, was it didn't offer enough ways to query your data efficiently, so
Yeah.
it was always a struggle to manage the data. Then we moved over to Postgres, but because our database is really dynamic, we just ended up struggling a lot with the migrations.
Yes, yeah.
So, like I said, I came across Surreal back in September of last year, and I think a couple months after that, I decided, you know what, it's probably worth giving it a shot. And that has worked out really well. So, since then, we've now released a couple apps in production, actually, using
Oh, really?
Surreal.
Wow, yeah.
And it's been really
That's amazing.
smooth.
Yeah.
And it really does everything I want it to. So.
That's really cool. And well, you mentioned migrations. We obviously want to make more strives in migrations. There is this one thing in the community which is CerilDB migrations
Yeah, no, I've
by
seen it,
David.
yeah.
Have you used that?
I haven't used it yet because so far we've been running everything schemaless. So no
Okay.
schema at all.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything's essentially dynamic.
Yeah.
But we want to start using things like indexes and full text search as well.
Yeah.
For us, that's going to be a big one. So we'll need to start using it. So probably soon I will have to
Well,
research
that is interesting, because contrary to belief, some people think that for indexes you need to have a schemaful table, but that's not actually the
No,
case.
that's right.
It can be schemaless.
Yeah.
And that's really powerful. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's really cool. I'll just need to have a way to dynamically be able to like apply those indexes and everything. But then I'll probably leave the table on schemaless
Yeah.
because it is so dynamic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the plans I have for the next few months.
That's amazing. Yeah. Sounds very good. So, what was the motivation for using Cereal in production?
Well, like I said, I just couldn't really find a good way to apply Firebase and then later on Postgres as well.
Yeah.
I needed something in the middle which was as dynamic as Firebase, but with the power of something like Postgres.
Yeah.
I did a bit of research, but I couldn't find too many things that did exactly what I wanted to. But yeah, Cereal I kept
came
thinking of
across.
Cereal the whole time. I was like, it is perfect. I, of course, I had to make the decision to use it while it was still in beta, but it's been really stable and it works extremely well. So
That's good to hear. Yeah.
it's been a good choice.
It was, yeah. It's the same for me actually. So I came across it in September, just a bit before the Fireship video, and it clicked,
Yeah.
and I just sort of went for it, and it's been amazing ever since. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've been hooked as well. It's just something about it. You just
Yeah.
you want to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and we've seen this throughout the community a lot actually. Like people previously databases were. I need to set up the schema. I need to migrate my changes. This, and this
Yeah.
and that. And I honestly love writing schemas in Cereal because it's
Yeah.
so powerful, so many features.
It does. It works really well. Yeah.
So and how's the experience been using Cereal in live projects?
Yeah, it's
Because
been great.
It's been stable, as you said, for you.
Yeah.
How's that been?
We've had no problems at all using the beta even. Really happy that, V1's out today. So that's going to be a big milestone, but that's been really, really well. So we've been using a lot of features actually. We do run our own backend on top of it. So
Yeah.
we're not making use of authentication right now because we still have a lot of legacy features from Firebase. But
Yeah.
using it behind the backend has also been absolutely fantastic. So that's also why I started making Surrealist, of course, is being able to manage it easily. Because before then, it would have been really difficult for my colleagues to work with it.
Yeah.
So that's been great. And one feature I'm still looking to add is the full text searching.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big deal for us as well. So I've been following that. That looks really cool. So can't wait to use that.
It is really cool. Yeah. So and are you using Firebase and Cereal at the same time at the moment?
Right now we are. Yeah,
That's
because
interesting. So you're doing like a partial migration.
That's right, yeah,
Like
so-
in stages, essentially.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a smooth transition essentially because we had a lot of stuff in Firebase, which includes authentication as well.
Yeah.
But we're slowly moving it over. So in my case, I have a custom backend in front of it, which also exposes a GraphQL API.
Okay.
And it kind of just depends on which data you're fetching, but sometimes it still comes from Firebase, sometimes
Yeah.
it comes from Cereal. It kind of changes. But we're trying to move everything over as quick as possible because the benefits we get in Cereal are just fantastic.
That's amazing to hear. Yeah. So what kind of apps are you building?
Well, we're building...
If you can talk about it, obviously.
Yeah, no, I
It's
can
not
have a-
like a government secret or
No,
anything.
no, it's not. It's not.
Okay, that's
no, we
cool.
can talk some about it. It's so these are mostly apps in the Netherlands because I'm based in the Netherlands. We build apps for a lot of different organizations. It can contain like legal documents, a lot of HR documents
yeah.
as well. But they also do things like news and push messaging and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So in our case, we really found a use for Cereal in terms of user communication.
Okay.
So things like polls and push messages. We have everything hooked up with Cereal, and we can now very easily target different groups of users because of that. So thanks to the relations and the way that works,
Yeah.
because it's so easy and fast, I can quite easily compose these kind of like dynamic searches on the user base. And based on that, we can just target very specific audiences to send them a poll or send them a push message.
Yeah.
So Cereal has been has been fantastic there. Yeah.
And you mentioned like legal documents as well. So obviously the security side of things is quite important to
That's
you.
right.
How are you finding that so far? I mean, there's loads of more to come security-wise in the coming months as we're actively working to improve that even further. But how have you found that so far?
Yeah, it works well, to be honest. Every app has its own database in our case, so we keep everything isolated, and then we make sure that security is obviously just working well.
Watertight, yeah.
And Surreal is definitely capable of handling it right now, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So for these documents as well I think that's where full text search can be a big benefit for us as well.
Yeah.
So previously everything was just in
Or like
Firebase.
searching through the documents themselves
that's
as well.
right.
That's
Yeah.
so cool, yeah.
So that's something we've been doing previously with Firebase, but that meant we had to pull down these documents and just do simple searches through them. It's been just not ideal, just quite slow as well. But
So it's like you're pulling every document and searching them.
yeah, that's what it does now. So I've managed to optimize it quite a bit, but having everything in Surreal and using the full text searching, that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, interesting. That's very cool, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so I'm thinking, what is your you like full text search? I've heard that, but like, is that your favorite feature in Surreal, or is it like more flexibility or?
Yeah. Well, I think the flexibility is my favorite
Okay.
because you can use Surreal in so many different ways, and it just always works really well. Every time I thought I'd hit a roadblock, there would be something for it already. So it's always been really nice. But the full text search, like I said, I haven't been able to properly use it yet, but it might become my favorite feature because
Yeah.
that's powerful as well.
That's cool. Yeah. Awesome, man. So just to round it off, what will be the next big thing in Surrealist?
Right. I am looking to support all the new features that have been added recently, things like the full text searching, but also the live queries.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm thinking
cool.
about is adding a view for essentially trying out live queries. So
Okay.
you can execute multiple, and then you'll be able to see the responses coming in. That's something I want to work on in the near
amazing,
future.
yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming over.
Yeah, it's been great.
And guys, it's Julian's birthday tomorrow, so please, best wishes,
Thank you.
and we'll see you around.
Thanks. It's been great being here.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.